if you had the skills, the mindset, the drive, and in my personal opinion, the spiritual energy that it takes to be an entrepreneur or be a person that is able to make money online or make money in their sleep or make money in their business, you would, depending on your age, you would already be doing this. Your job is not holding you back from becoming rich. If anything, your job is a tool that is helping you, but you're not able to utilize it that way because you don't have the mentality of the entrepreneur. You don't quit your job and then become an entrepreneur. You either awaken the spirit of the entrepreneur that exists, that is already, excuse me, that exists already inside of you, or you develop the mindset and the skills that it take along the way if you have the right drive, purpose, and passion. And most people are going about this the wrong way. And this is another thing. Everyone has to identify their starting point, because you might look at what someone else did, what worked for them, and it may not work for you because everybody's situation is different. Someone else might have a connect that you didn't have. Someone else might have certain skills that from the outside looking in, it may look easy. It may look easy. It may look like, oh, this person is just selling this product. Maybe I could sell this product too. Maybe it wasn't the product that they were selling. Maybe it was some of the skills. Maybe they knew how to market a right way. Maybe they knew how to run ads. Maybe they knew how to design something a certain way. But you have to utilize what you already have. You have to think about the skills. This is something that I have been contemplating on and just been leaning towards heavily recently. Not heavenly, that too, but as I grow and as I learn and as I apply myself more to be able to make money in different ways, I realize that most of the time, or at some point, I'm going to be utilizing the skill that I learned in the past. Even when I was younger and I was working on the first thing that I've ever utilized, graphic design, or was able to use my artistic mind in a digital way, was on a program called Microsoft Paint. And if you guys grew up in if you guys are 90 babies or you grew up in the early 2000s, then you understand, you're familiar with Microsoft Paint. It's just a simple program where it allows you to be able to just design basic, simple things. And you're not really doing it with any intention. You're just having fun. But that was the first platform. And then I remember going to school, they had us, use different platforms over the time so that way we can learn different things. And me, I was always getting my work done in school. I always got good grades. I got honor roll like 99% of the time that I was in school. So even though I don't believe that school is something, or at least, college is something that you need to be successful, and I understood this at a young age, but I still worked hard because I knew that, okay, some of these skills that I'm developing along the way, it may pay off at some point, and it did, and it it does. And some skills are more higher paying, or they're more valuable than other skills. If you are a person that wants to be an entrepreneur, you want to be able to identify what is the highest paying skills that is closely related to what you're already interested in. You don't want to go out there and try to start a whole nother skill that has nothing to do with your life, has nothing to do with how your brain operates, because now you're going to be climbing an uphill battle. You want to lean into what is already working for you, what is already easy for you. And most people have skills that can transfer to making money online, but they don't realize it because that entrepreneur spirit isn't activated within inside of them. And there's many different ways you could look at it, at that, but sometimes you just need a step in the right direction. Sometimes you might just even need to watch the right video, or just to maybe, take the right course or read the right book to be able to package everything that you have together to be able to, maybe start a YouTube channel and make content a certain type of way, or maybe start selling digital products a certain way, and learning your strengths when it comes to, whether it be graphic design, marketing, keyword research, analyzing your competitors, whatever it is, however your brain works. We all have different strengths in our brain that is just, we operate naturally. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is what I understand about myself too. Some things that I'm doing, it's just so naturally because I'm analytical where I could just crunch numbers down in a certain type of way where I just know I'm going to be able to make this amount of money. If I can just look at all of the data versus how much money people, of how much money people are making and how many people are selling it and how many people are searching for it per month and the time that I'm getting in at and how well are my skills and how well of a product can I create compared to what's already on the market. And I can already pretty much like, that's why the first time when I ever started selling digital products on Etsy, I got my first like 100 sales in a month. And that was, due to other things like timing, because it was in Q4, which is right now, which if you were watching this video right now, just understand that this is probably the easiest time, not even probably, this is the easiest time to make money throughout the whole year for, just the momentum and the pendulum that is existing in the world. But also, from my personal perspective, it's also a spiritual reason. There's going to be a lot of high vibrational energy that's going on around this time. There's going to be a lot of just good emotions and good positive thoughts that's being projected into the atmosphere. And if you understand how to just feed off of that, you can utilize that to be able to manifest whatever you want. And so getting back on topic to this whole job versus business thing, going back to my original point, you don't have to stop working your job and then, this is how people fail. This is something that if you're a young person, or maybe if you just never did this before and you think that this is going to happen, this is something that I've done before. Like, this is something that at a young age, me being 18, this was right before I was about to move out to California. So I already kind of had something set up. It wasn't 100% like set in stone of everything how it's going to be, but I knew I was coming to California. So I quit my job working in a warehouse, which I think that's what I made my last video about. I quit my job because I didn't want to be in a cold warehouse anymore when I knew that I was going to be in sunny California living my dream and accomplishing everything that I wanted to accomplish. That's what I knew in my heart. That's what I felt, and it just didn't fuel me anymore. But if I would have stayed working there, a little bit longer, I could have came to California with some more money in my pocket. And I just analyze this sometime looking back, not in a way where I regret it. I just analyze it so that way I won't have to make the same mistake in the future. And also, you watching this right now, I tell my story to you so that way you won't have to make the same mistake. When you have money, when you have capital, you can leverage this in a way, but you need to know how to do it. You don't just take the money and just blow it and then, keep buying food and keep buying things you don't need and then just say, oh, I don't want to work this job. Well, you got to take this money. And it's another thing that people don't talk about. Your job is more important for your mental health than you probably realize. But you might have to make that shift, because if you ever been at a point where you didn't have a job, or you wasn't having any money coming in after working a job before, or even before you ever started working, you understand how miserable this can be sometimes. When you don't have nowhere to go, when you don't have no money coming in, when you're not adding any value to the world, you think that you're going to just stop working and then just, your business is going to flourish. But sometimes what happens is you just lose motivation all around, because you were so stuck in a cycle that was, requiring a certain amount of energy out of you, but you didn't ever learn the skill of how to use your mind to be able to apply that to something without someone telling you to. Because even in school, they program us to listen to people. They teach us to take tests. They teach us to be able to just learn things, but they don't always teach us to apply ourselves to be able to, grow from our current situation, our current standpoint, and to be able to adapt. They don't really teach us this. This is something you either have to learn yourself or you have to have instilled inside of you. And if you really understand yourself and you are honest with yourself, you pretty much know what's going to happen. You pretty much know in your heart how well you'll be able to be successful at something. And you know what? Let me not even say with your heart, because your heart will lie to you sometimes. Even though your heart is, a lot more powerful than your mind. They say the heart is 10,000 times. I've seen different numbers. Sometimes it says 10,000, sometimes it says 100,000 more powerful than your brain. But your brain is the logical, analytical aspect of yourself. Sometimes you really have to tap into that to be able to make educated guesses for your next move. Listen into your heart sometimes. When you might love passion, you might be an artist, and you might just love your music so much, but you haven't developed the skills to be able to apply that in a way where you can make money. That's why you have to stay down till you come up. That's why you have to work that job, so that way you can save up the money, and then while you're working the job, you focus on your passion, you focus on your business, and you designate a certain amount of time per day, per week, per month towards this specific goal. And if you're not making progress with that in a certain amount of time, then sometimes you might just have to navigate and switch. Honestly, like, you don't really want to spend too much time. You don't want to spend months and years working on the business for it to work. I'm telling you that right now. Like, and that might sound like, something that is different than what you heard. But after I made 100 sales in my first month of starting a business, of selling off of one product, my mind completely changed off of everything. It's not to say that, like, oh, if you don't get 100 sales in your first month, you should stop. Is if you don't see the potential, if you're not using your analytical mind to be able to determine how fast, how quickly you can grow in this. And you just have to be able to develop that mind. That's part of being an entrepreneur, is being able to see the success or failure before you even kind of like continue moving forward, so you can save yourself time, jump into the next thing. And there's another thing too. Just because you spent a couple months or however long working on the business, all of that time is not for nothing. This is another important key. If you learn something in that business, you will take those skills to be able to move that to the next business. That was the main thing that I had an intention when I first started selling on Etsy, because I done many things in the past. I had a website one time where I was trying to drop ship. I've been making music for a very long time. I haven't really put out a lot of it. I worked, a couple different jobs. I watched so many different videos about people making money online, and I just, sometimes I would get to a certain point, but then I would just be like, oh, I don't have this skill, or, this doesn't really resonate with me. But what I learned is, over the time of studying these people that's giving their perspective in the videos, over time of just, learning how to, there was times where I was like making my own mixtape covers for myself, and I was learning how to design that. I've been making YouTube thumbnails since I started my YouTube channel. I've been learning how do I find certain videos that might get into the algorithm based off certain keywords. So then, me knowing that for years and doing that on YouTube, then now that transferred over to Etsy. Then now the things that I'm doing with Etsy, now I'm taking certain tactics that I'm learning with that, then I'm able to transfer that over to like music and even YouTube. It all works in conjunction with each other. That is, that's the world that we live in today. But that's also how I set things up in my life, where when I learn one thing, I learn many things, because it's all connected, because all of the platforms, all of the things that I'm building. And really in life, when if you learn one thing really well and you understand it to a certain level, you could be able to apply that to many things. And that's also the mind of an entrepreneur. This is the mindset that you have to have. Skills pay the bills. You have to be able to have these certain skills to be able to make some success happen. If you don't have those skills, if you don't have that mindset, you might want to spend time developing that and understanding that, so that way you can build up your confidence, and so that way you can just know yourself, and you just know, okay, I can do this every day, or I can grow. What is the thing I can grow the quickest in a short amount of time? If you understand that and you just have that answer, and that's what, not most of your time, but this is the thing about me selling on Etsy. I don't make a product until I know for sure it's going to sell. Sometimes I'll take a risk now because I have like over 5,000 sales. But when I first got started, that first product, I spent hours making it, but I spent hours researching it too. Like most of as long as I spent making it, I spent just as much time, or if not more, researching it. You have to research the same way how I had to research that product. You have to research what's the next steps for you. You have to really just know, okay, not from your heart because you love it or you're passionate about it. You have to know in your mind, okay, this is a good chance that this might work. Let me put some energy into it. And don't overinvest. Don't put more money into it that, is not a good likelihood of you getting it back. You have to be able to understand the risk management. Like, these are all things that you learn along the way. And you don't want to, spend too much time analyzing and be stuck in analysis paralysis where you just don't do anything. But you just have to know, you just have to spend time. You just have to spend time just knowing that. It's like the time is the investment on the front end. You spending time researching so that way you can save time creating. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if I was to go out there and just spend a little bit of time researching products and I was to make 100 products, then now I'm wasting all of the time, because I might make all of those 100 products, and in that one product, or maybe, you know, a few of those products were winners, but it took me way longer to figure that out than if I would have just did that on the front end, if you feel what I'm saying. So yeah, man, like, you got to know, you don't quit your job until you have what it takes, because you need consistent money coming in. And like I mentioned before, you have to know where your starting point is. I mean, you have to go from your starting point. Everybody has different starting points. Everybody has different starting points with their brain, with their mindset, with their motivation, with their mental energy, with their skills, with their spiritual energy, with what they inherited from their parents. So you got to analyze where you're at and make the best move moving forward. So yeah, that's my take on this. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.